I always could drink a lot socially, but not a problem, you know. So alcohol, as you know, when we had family parties, they were big drinking sessions, and that was never a problem. I never woke up the next day thinking I've got a problem, I need a drink. But I think what I identified, like where alcohol did take me, was I started with the business. I had the 2 shops, I had 3 children. I'd lost Joseph, the baby that I lost at 23 weeks, and that just sent me a bit screwy. And what I didn't realise until much later was I was actually suffering from postnatal depression, and I didn't know. But I was suffering a lot of anxiety, and the only way round the feeling of anxiety for me was to actually have a glass of wine. So if anyone at work, at the salon, if they, you know, if I was having a bit of a rough time with employees, because with 25 employees, there's, you know, it's no easy task dealing with them every day. So what I'd do is I'd go home, and to de-stress, I would open a bottle of wine. But then I started, the bigger the business grew, and at one point it was really big, the one in Caversham, and the bigger it grew, the more stress I was under to stay on top of my game. And a little bit of that was also worrying about people's expectations of me, my mum and dad. You know, the more they raised me on a pedestal, the more I felt I had to perform, achieve. That was how it started, was anxiety, really. And I found the first glass did nothing. The second glass started to take the edge off. The third one, I was all right. But fast forward, that was 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3 bottles. And, you know, 3 bottles was quite the norm at night time. And then I was off my game then. So at what point my drinking changed? All I know is that it went from being controlled to not being controlled. So it was constantly on my mind, it was in my head, it was, you know, it was telling me I needed it more and more. So I was getting up in the morning at the end of my drinking, and the first thing I had to do was open a bottle of wine. And that was my kickstart of the day, not coffee. It was a glass of wine. The dry retching follows that, where you bring it back up because you've already had 3 the night before. It's a vicious circle. It's an awful thing. Then you have a second one, and then the panic and the anxiety start to calm again. And then I'd get in the car and I'd go to the salon with a bottle in my glove compartment, a bottle in my handbag, 1 in the toilet, and the things that you do, like using a mug, a coffee mug, but with wine in it so that other people think that you're doing that, hiding it. And I mean, when I stopped drinking, I cannot tell you where I found bottles. I'd forgot where I hid them myself, you know, and they were everywhere. You do things like, because you're conscious that people are watching you, so you go to every different corner shop. And I had this thing about buying a birthday card and a gift bag. And he must have thought, she knows a hell of a lot of people with a lot of birthdays. I didn't have to buy a birthday card or a gift bag for 3 years in sobriety because I had a stockpile of birthday cards, anniversary cards, get well cards, wrapping paper, gift bags. The madness. It is madness. I crashed my car numerous times, but I didn't remember because by this time I was drinking and I was going to black out. So I was driving home from the salon, and where I drank progressively through the day at work, I was driving home, and I remember once hitting a car that was parked outside someone's house, and someone chased me up the road and had a go at me. And I just wound the window down and told them to F off, because you don't give a shit. Another day I crashed. I was out at night with all the girls from work. I came home. Somewhere along the way, I took a bus stop out, and I got up the next morning and I didn't remember doing it. So Andy went outside and my car's parked on the drive with no wing mirror. All down the side was bashed in. And he said to me, what have you done to the car? What have you hit this time? I mean, this was quite a regular occurrence, you know. And when I went to my meetings and I got sober, the guilt, that was probably one of my hardest things to forgive myself for, was the driving. Because when I took that bus stop out, there could have been somebody sat at it. The guilt stick, my sponsor had to say to me one day, Jacqui, put the stick down. Put the guilt stick down. What you've got to remember is you're not doing that anymore. That is not who you are today. But I found it that was probably my hardest thing, was to forgive myself for driving my children